Hey everyone, it's Jen from Midnight Sky Fibers, and this is a tutorial for how to quickly sew the back of a slipper seam. So this isn't a perfect method, it's not pretty or invisible, but it's how I like to sew the back of slippers or other projects where I care more about not having a seam that's going to rub against the back of my foot. So I've threaded my tapestry needle. I like the ones that have a curved end on it so that I can really get through the stitches quickly and easily. And I've threaded it with about 18 inches of yarn left over from my cast on. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to just insert it into the side here. And since this is just a normal long tail cast on, you can see the V's. It's a little bit hard to tell since I was using yarn that's doubled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through each V on each side, and I'm going to pull not very tight, but just enough that this is the same look as a shoelace would have. So I'm going to go in from under, and then it goes over the top. The really important thing to remember is that you want to make sure that you've lined up your knitting so that it's even as you're sewing. Not so important if you're using this just to sew up the bottom of a felted bag before you throw it in the washing machine to felt it. But here it's a little bit important because you can see that I have a purl stitch ridge along each side, and I want to make sure that that matches up more or less. You know, I just don't want that to be off by too much as I'm going along here, because that wouldn't be very pretty. Oh, tapestry needle falling off there. So once we get to the bottom here, the easiest way to make sure that you're not getting any weird bump is to just sometimes to just skip the last stitch or two along the edge there and not work it if it's a small enough space that it's not going to create a hole. So here I have 2 stitches left unworked, and I'm just going to actually thread my needle through here and then go down just like I would and it's just creating a small loop of yarn that goes in a circle, and I'm going to pull it out, pull it tight, and so you can see that it's not creating any big sharp angle point there, which I don't want at the edge of my foot because that would look kind of funny. And so there we have it. The seam is finished, and it's just very flat. You know, it's not sticking out, none of the edge is sticking out despite the very rectangular shape of this particular slipper. Happy knitting!